This is The Wire for 2200 Zulu, January 22nd, 2025. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 2100. Bottom line up front. Stabbing attack strikes Germany. Trump continues executive actions. Wildfire breaks out north of Santa Clarita in California. Beginning with international events. In Panama, as the increased rhetoric continues to put the spotlight on the small but important Central American nation, Panama has filed a formal complaint with the United Nations regarding President Trump's remarks regarding ownership of the canal. In Germany, this morning, a stabbing attack was conducted on a daycare group of small children in the city of Aschaffenburg. One 2-year-old child and one adult male were killed in the attack. The suspect has been identified as Inamullah O., an immigrant from Afghanistan who had a long police record of violent acts and mental illness, who was protected from deportation by government agencies, as Germany does not normally deport anyone to Afghanistan due to the logistical difficulty in doing so, and a general government policy of protecting these individuals. On the home front in California, earlier today the Hughes fire broke out northeast of Santa Clarita, and as of this report has rapidly expanded to over 3,000 acres in size. In Washington, D.C., President Trump continues to sign the previously indicated plethora of executive orders, many of which have resulted in controversy, as expected. For instance, Trump's order to mandate all federal workers to physically return to their place of work has resulted in controversy from two main groups: federal workers who want to continue telework, and the citizenry who is becoming aware of how few federal employees were actually working in their offices over the past 4 years. Other controversy has emerged following the announcement of the Stargate project, which is a conglomerate of commercial efforts to build AI infrastructure. Analysts comment. Considering the recent scandals with OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman and the highly suspicious death of Suchir Balaji, an OpenAI whistleblower whose death occurred right after his disclosure of crimes OpenAI was alleged to have committed, this project is interesting. Considering that this Stargate project did not just originate out of the ether overnight, many further suspicions have been raised regarding Balaji's death. At the time, it was hard to believe that an AI company would silence a whistleblower over the allegations that Balaji brought to the table. However, in hindsight, we now know that major billion-dollar contracts with the US government were in the works at the time, which drastically increases suspicions of his death. Regarding the developing situation of the J6 prisoners, the slow walking of their release continues for some. Of the remaining prisoners, approximately a dozen still have not yet been released, as mandated by presidential order, though the process is ongoing. Along the Gulf Coast, many states along the Gulf of America have reported power outages as significant snowfall took place throughout the region yesterday afternoon. From Louisiana to Florida, in some places over 12 inches of snow fell, which has broken many previous precipitation records. In Vermont, more details have emerged regarding the murder of a Border Patrol agent on I-91 Monday. The suspects, a male and a female, have not yet been identified, but the male suspect is of German nationality, while the female is American. Analysts comment. This does not appear to be a case of routine immigration violence, and there probably is more to this story than meets the eye. Though the male suspect, now deceased, was originally stated to be an illegal alien, he appears to have at least entered the US legally as he had a valid visa. However, he could have overstayed that visa. Not enough information has been released yet regarding this case to know either way. Analyst comments for this wire. Somewhat interestingly, in the letter sent to the United Nations, Panama also vowed to conduct an extensive audit of the Panama Ports Company, the Hong Kong-based company which handles most canal logistics. This backhanded and somewhat flustered response from the Panamanian Comptroller's office could be a tacit admission of what is fairly obvious, that China exerts significant control over canal operations. This could also be an attempt to walk back some of that Chinese influence in an attempt to placate the United States to avoid something more serious happening in the future. As one might expect, most of the information pertaining to the release of the J6 individuals is rife with rumor, with many details being hard to verify. Mainstream media is entirely ignoring this as expected, and the dissemination of information is largely being carried out by concerned citizens who are trying to coordinate each individual's release, get info from the families, etc. In many cases, the release of J6 prisoners has been completely routine. In other cases, unconfirmed rumor has indicated that federal agencies have had to step in by transferring prisoners out of the D.C. Central Prison Facility so they could be released by an agency actually willing to do so. Some individuals have claimed that the release of some prisoners is being intentionally delayed due to the prisoners having physical signs of mistreatment, which would be uncovered by a post-release medical examination, so provable or disprovable either way. Other claims are being made that various non-disclosure agreements are being forced on the prisoners to prevent them from publicly speaking about their treatment at the facility, though this may be a standard part of release conditions and not something specific to the J6 prisoners. This concludes The Wire for 2200 Zulu, January 22nd, 2025.